What do we got? Game 9, I guess. Is that where we're at, Jerry?
6-2,
Game
7-1.
Game 9, and got a really good, fresh Virginia team coming in here. Coach Tony Elliott, again, a great guy. Good friend, I would say, just the way we talk, and in the off season, I just got a lot of respect for him as a person and as a football coach. And, played him many times when he was down at Clemson. So they got, they're coming off a bye week. They got 2 weeks to prepare for us. We prepared for everything on offense and defense that we possibly could in a short week, and we're ready to roll.
Pat, how have you seen Eli take this week? You guys have kind of had 3 straight games. The offense hasn't been as efficient as it was in your first 5 games or so. How have you seen him take coaching, and what have you guys worked on adjusting to this week, considering defenses are switching things up so much?
Right. Just working on the details. We're working on everything else around him. Obviously the protection's got to be better. We all focus on the quarterback spot, but the protection's got to be better. He can't be looking around. But I think we've done a detailed job there. I feel good there, and I won't get into all the other specifics, but again, it takes 11 guys, and whether it's the depth of a route. As far as just the spacing in your route concepts and making things clear based on if you got a drag route and you got a deep route and they're close together, that's not good for the quarterback.
Right.
Okay, but you got to have spacing. Receivers got to get their depth. Everybody's got to do their job. It's not just protecting, but you got to make that guy. And then if the guy is back on the dig, then you throw the under. If he's sitting, if they're both here and you can stay in the middle and go for both, you got an issue. So all those spacing issues. When you start to rush your routes and you feel like maybe you don't have time, so I got to get there faster. We got to give them time. It can't be everybody rush their work to get it done. It doesn't work that way. So, but again, that's what happens when you play a good defense. It makes you do that. And SMU is that, and Virginia's talented as well. So we'll see what they do. The important thing is we've tried to give him more of what they don't do. And I think that's the key. Is hey, this is what they do. This is what we're watching tape on. But they've had everybody's got the ability to change. So. If they change, I think we got a good idea what they're going to change to.
Was the spacing something that you guys noticed particularly against SMU that was an issue, or is that a growing problem?
I think, and I'm not saying I'm not pointing all that. I'm talking about protection. I'm talking about everything. I just think, it's everything. So everybody's got to be on, and it can't be, and again, I think that's the main thing.
Are there times where he can get rid of the ball quicker? It would maybe mitigate some of the protection problems.
You know what? I say this as a defense coach. I'll say this as an offense coach. It's always easy to say that when you have the clicker in your hand. We could say yes. If you watch the video from the press box and you're watching it from the all 22 up there, and you rewind it and you go, wait, why didn't you throw it right over there? But there's people in your face, and there's big dudes over here, and again, I always say this. The best camera would have one of those ones that's on the quarterback's helmet, so you can see what the hell he's seeing. But like when guys are in your view, and you can say, why didn't you throw it to that guy right on the other side of you? Because you can't see him. And I don't care if you're 6'5" or you're 5'10", you still have issues. So we're doing the best we can, and I think he's playing his tail off, and we're happy with where he is. So we got to make sure everybody, the other 10 guys around him, are playing well too. I think we can get that done on Saturday.
In beating you're talking about expecting the unexpected, being prepared to handle that. How much of that is about self-focus and reflection, knowing your stuff so well that whatever they do throw at you, you have your keys to counter?
Yeah, I think that's all part of it. That's easy to say as you're sitting in the meeting room,
right,
saying this is what they do, this is what they could do, and there's a lot of different stuff. So it sounds simple. There's a lot that goes into it, and you got to go out there and execute. It comes down to execution, and we get But I feel good with where we are with what we've seen this week.
How much of prep? Obviously you're looking at what a team does historically, what the coordinators there do. How much is also looking at what's worked against you? Not just this week, but in general. How much are you looking at
the last 3 weeks? There's no question that's what we do. So there's people. It's called Copycat. Whether it's Virginia coming out, we've worked traps, and we saw some traps that it's like a 1932 play. Jerry used to watch that back in the day with me. I'm just as old as you, Jerry. And they brought a play out of the, but there's things called copycat. So people are going to copycat, offensive formations, copycat. Oh, I saw them do this. They gained yards on this. So let's do that. They don't have it in the playbook. So defense are going to do the same thing. They're going to say, hey, this looked like it has stopped them. Now again, is it the defense that stopped us, or is it us that stopped us? Right? I mean, execution. I don't care what the defense is. We should be able to execute and throw completions and run the ball. So, those are all things that have to happen. So.
Has the offensive playbook grown and evolved a lot since the start of the year? As you guys kind of learned how defenses like to play?
Yeah, but I think you got the different beaters that you need in weekly. Again, are you blocking every front every week when you don't see it on tape? No, but I think the playbook. I can't say it's expanded. You're always going to have tweaks to it, offensive and defensively for that matter. So I can't say it's grown because it's hard to put all that stuff in there. But it's stuff that we've done back in camp. We did in spring ball, and then you bring it out this week. You didn't have it in the last 2 weeks. So it's like juggling. Hey, what do we need to beat them? What concepts are good in the run game? What concepts are good in the pass game? And you just kind of pick and choose what you need that week based on what they do.
How do you think the defense has responded this week after, I guess, losing Destiny last weekend?
I think they've responded pretty good. Coaches are chasing around on the field, making sure we're under the ball and finishing plays. And it's about finishing. I mean, you can't be in position to make a play and not make it. I mean, if you can't finish. Again, uncharacteristic of us, and we'll find out how we respond Saturday.
Who's the fastest coach that changes a player?
There's some bad athletes out there. I'd say Ryan Manilak. I'm going with Ryan. Batesy, he wobbles around. I mean, I got a bad knee, but I think he's got 2 bad hips.
With Malachi and his ability to catch those contested balls, what do you tell your defensive backs in trying to defend with that kind of size and winning those battles or matchups?
Yeah, I mean, you got to know where number 8 is. He's a big target. He's their leading receiver. He's tall. He's strong. He's fast. I guess he runs 22 mile an hour. So he's special. He's an NFL wideout. So we'll have our hands full with him, and whoever we decide. Come on, EJ. Whoever we decide to put on him is going to have a really good ball game. We're going to have to lock him down out there.
Commander is a dual threat guy, but he was sacked 9 times against North Carolina. How have you guys for a game plan, and how are you approaching him?
North Carolina's got a front. Okay, now those dudes up there, they got beasts up front. I think. So we're gonna have to match their intensity of what they did and see if we can do what North Carolina did. You always worry about the expectations of 10 sacks. It's you get 5 interceptions against Syracuse. Oh, we're gonna do that every week. No, that doesn't happen like that. Things go in droves sometimes. So, I don't know how many sacks we're gonna get, but we got to contain him in the pocket. We got to put pressure on him at the same time because when he goes, he can go. I think he's fast. And some people said, is he faster than Jennings last week? I think he is. I think he is.
You mentioned you're friends with Tony Elliott. I'm just curious, is it appropriate for coaches to speak to each other? I mean, not Elliott and you together this week, but speak to each other during the week about, hey, this is what we saw against Virginia. This might be able to help you. Do you talk to other coaches about what you might see Saturday?
You start talking to Tony?
No, not Tony.
Other coaches?
No, somebody you're not playing.
Yeah. That happens all the time.
During the week?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. For years and years. That's kind of how I got to know Bates, Randy Bates, is because we used to call each other, hey, in the Big Ten. So you have all those guys that you call.
Mm-hmm.
Bates called more than most, so I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was good. He likes to always dig and try to find something maybe he didn't know.
Do you think people on the outside underestimate the balance between you want to be hyper competitive all the time, but also your football? I'm thinking about on Saturday night when the SMU kid got hurt. I know you went out and talked to Lashley for a little bit. I mean, do you think people underestimate that? Yeah, you guys are really competitive, but also you're people in the same profession. You're coaching.
No doubt about it. I talked to Rhett Lashley this week. Okay, again, the conversation doesn't matter, but it's a profession of relationships. Period. I mean, there's a lot of great people out there, a lot of great coaches, assistants and head coaches. So you got relationships with those guys. So
your contacts on your phone must be in the thousands, right?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
How many you got, Jerry?
Not that many.
As you try to be two-dimensional on offense, obviously, with the run game, you got to block better, plays this and that. Is there some element of your run game that maybe you just need to run a little more, just volume, just hand it off a little more than you do?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the exact. What are we run past?
A lot more pass.
What's the
Then running
What's the
back run.
percentage? What's the percentage?
I don't have my notebook.
Yeah, I don't have my notebook either, but I can look at that. It's like last week we didn't get a chance to establish a run because we didn't, play great defense. So It goes week by week, and again, what are they giving you? And I think that's what it comes down to.
Speaking of
300 pass, 237 rush.
I'd say it again now.
300 pass, 237 rushes.
Okay, so there you go. So it's whatever that figure is, probably 60-40 pass. So it depends on what they're giving you, but.
Rodney had his most offensive touches last week. What did you see from him, and how do you guys plan to keep on getting him more involved?
It's a game by game thing. We'll see how, obviously Desmond is the starter, and then Rodney will come in and replace him when he needs to.
But Daniel Carter, he seems to run.
Daniel Carter, Daniel Carter's always a great, viable option for sure. I like Daniel a lot. Again, how many carries are you getting? To Chris's point, how many times what are they doing? We know they're all good pass protectors, so we're good at passing the ball. Chris says 300.
He should know.
Is there almost like less pressure after losing a game? I mean, undefeated. I don't think a lot of people expected that through 7 weeks, but taking a loss, does it feel like less pressure to defend?
I guess it's who you are. Not to me. To me, there's more pressure, but I think it depends on if you ask 10 coaches or 30 players. I bet you they all have a different answer, but I could see both sides of it. But to me, there's more pressure, there's more urgency. Like we got to get it done. So.
Has there ever been a situation where you went week to week and said, "Oh, there's less pressure this week"?
Never. Every week it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. When you're in November playing for something, it's big.
Pitt
But-
came in number 18 in the college football playoff rankings. Did you notice that at all?
I was informed of that by my man down there at the end of the table. Yeah.
Is that a motivating factor for those you guys are
Good.
It just, but that's 6 spots out of being in the picture.
What do you do against Virginia? It doesn't matter. Like, whatever we were ranked last week didn't matter, right? So we just got to take care of business. And we got to focus on the game and the execution and running the ball and throwing the ball and stopping the run. Simple game, guys. It's not that complicated. Just got to execute. And we got to do a good job as coaches to make sure they execute properly.
Cam Guest said last night the only thing he was worried about was Thursday's practice. Is that?
I love that kid, right? I mean, that's what you want him to. I don't know if he was thinking about where he wanted to go eat. Jerry, you're a listener. I like it. He should be worried about Thursday practice. I mean, it's like, you got to win on Tuesday. You got to win on Thursday. You got to win every day of the week, regardless of what day it is.
It's tough for college kids, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Not to think ahead.
Yes, there's a lot of things going on in their heads for sure. There's school, there's girls, there's whatever out there. Okay, video games. You try to get them locked in. There's agents. There's all kinds of things going on in the world, right? There's everything. There's parents. There's a lot of things going through these kids' heads at times.
Makes me long for.
I got my message in here, but what's the message they're getting on the outside? I don't know.
It makes us old people long for the 60s.
That's right. No question about it. I mean, there's social media. I mean, like, what are they being told? Like, I have my message and tell them what to do, and Cam Guest got that. The only important thing is Thursday, but like, what's important to them? I don't know.
What about your
You
staff?
read too much on Twitter.
What about your staff helps insulate your program and your team? Any quality or anything about the guys that you brought in that work with you day to day to help your players stay focused that much?
Yeah, I mean, that's everybody's job. That's our job, is to make sure they're focused and taking care of the details and doing everything the right way. So, each position lies on them, and then the coordinators, have each unit. So that's their job, to keep their guys. We talk about that a lot. But when they're up on campus, I mean, you can tell guys to turn your Twitter off, get off that thing, stop playing video games, whatever it may be. But stop reading about, like, hey, look at me, hey, look at this video, like, that's why I don't go on that stuff. Like, like it's, as Saban would say, I hate to use this phrase, but it's about the best one out there, rat poisoning. Okay, so, you start to believe it. You start to believe you're good. You're never as good as you think you are. And you're never as bad as you think you are.
Don't most of your kids take classes remotely, though?
No.
I would think they would.
No, they go to class a lot. Matter of fact, we check class. So,
Well, yeah, I'm just thinking remote
check remote.
learning seems to be a thing of the.
yeah, that's not learning at all, in my opinion. It's like having football class over, what kind of team would we be if we taught them football, by Zoom? I go back to COVID. That was some bad stuff, Jerry. Like, that was bad. So, I would say, and EJ may know better than me, I would say 75% of the classes are in person.
At least.
at least.
Mhm.
I think some universities have gone to that, but
Yeah.
there's nothing
That's
more.
why I asked.
I won't mention some of them. I've heard of them. Recruiting, like and parents are upset that they're in remote classes. So, we want to keep in-person classing. The education the way it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
So, everybody gets a little bit lazy since COVID. It's easy to sit in your kitchen at home and do a Zoom class. Get up and go to class. They come in here every day ready to get to class. What else? Anything else?
You don't play video games?
No. when that football game came out, I played a little bit of it with my son just to be a good dad. But he kicked my butt, and I was like, okay, I can at least say I played it.
That's one of the only times I've ever seen Jerry get mad was he played Johnny McGonigal in NFL Blitz and lost.
What is NFL Blitz?
It's an old video game.
Ah.
Night before the Peach Bowl.
I've never been a big video game guy. There's
Wait.
too many other things going on in life.
The one time you played, did you play as Pitt?
Yeah, well, there's no question. No question.
I think he played his Penn
Someone
State.
just asked me yesterday, I think it was EJ, if I wanted to opt into the thing. I'm like, no one's ever asked me. I don't care. So EJ's gonna get me opted in.
Oh, yeah, you're opted in.
Wait, who did your son pick?
How he bounced around. If there's Pitt's always on the screen. It just depends on who they know I'm gonna get it. And then Patrick and my youngest daughter Isabella. Those are the two that will get on there and they rotate. It's always gonna be someone they play that year.
Okay.
It's not gonna be some random.
Okay.
It's not gonna be random.
So he beat you in video games and in golf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bad. Bad.